My name is Jon Caponetto. I'm an enrolled member of the Burns Paiute Tribe. My identities that I have are I'm LGBT, I'm a first generation college student, I am Native American, I'm biracial, son, uncle, nephew, and looking to create research that will hopefully in the future make college going for BIPOC students a better experience than what it is now. Going to college really wasn't in the books for me, I'd say. Because I'm first generation, no one really pushed me to go to it. I just always kind of heard like, that's the thing you do after high school. Wasn't entirely wanting to go, but I did apply for as many colleges as I could get into. Luckily, I was a really good student in high school. I did many activities, so on paper, I was a really good applicant to get into really any college I wanted to. Ultimately, what decided that I was going to go was that I was given the opportunity to be a Gates Millennium Scholar, which is a full-ride scholarship for only 1,000 students at the time were selected out of 57,000 who applied. So I was given that opportunity, and being given that opportunity, I couldn't imagine not going and utilizing something that really is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that not a lot of people get if there's that many people applying for this specific scholarship. And being the first from my tribal community to get that scholarship from this entire community that I grew up in, it really solidified that I could go to college, I could make it, or at the least somebody saw that potential in me and they wanted to give me that scholarship. Yeah, so starting in my freshman year of college, I was assigned a Native American retention specialist who also doubled as like an academic counselor. And being in her presence made me feel welcomed at the school, like one of the first times I'd ever felt welcomed at college. And seeing her, how she helped me find the Native American Student Union and being able to go to the Many Nations Longhouse at the UO was so vital to me continuing through school. And having her there as that person to guide me was so helpful. I also had a trio advisor who would come to my performances when I was having a concert. And it's things like that where they're kind of acting as family, surrogate family, I should say, that where they stepped in where my family couldn't because I lived so far away. And that was needed, especially for the community that I grew up in. Kinship is super important. Having family come to concerts or any kind of event was so important to me, and not having that in college really hurt, and it was a big culture shock for me. So people like that coming to my concerts or being able to speak Paiute in an academic advising session was so beneficial for me to think that yes, I could continue doing this because people like this have gone through the process and they're assisting me now. And I want to continue that positive cycle of they did it for me, so I can be able to do it for the next generation of future scholars like Indigenous students or anyone that comes from a minoritized background. Yeah, I'd love to see in my own community more kids excited for education, going to college, going to trade school, whatever it may be after high school, doing something that will one day, so that they can come back to the tribe, they can run the departments, and so it's not just one person running everything. It's this collective that is able to operate together, which I love the idea of both coming back to the community to do that, but also doing that in a way that you can go off and live somewhere, live out your values, but still impact your community in a way. And that's what I'm hoping to do, whether I come back or not. I know I want to make an impact with my community, and I think there are multiple ways to do that. Just like I've said, working at higher education institutions is where I feel like I can do that best. But there could be so many people, so many younger, like the younger generation that could come back and fill these vacant spots or spots that are held by non-native people or non-tribal members. So that's what I'm hoping to see, kind of more of that change. As for big picture society stuff, who's to say? I'm not entirely sure. I'm still trying to figure that stuff out. I know I want to see more BIPOC students as professors, more Indigenous professors teaching Indigenous courses, tribal colleges and universities expanding more. So things like that, more resources given to these students that maybe first generation or, come from a minority group where they are the first or only a few from wherever they come from their background, and they can still thrive in places like at a university. That's a really good question. It's hard for me to answer that because I'm still on that journey myself. And I think that might be an answer, as well, as to allow yourself to be, to enjoy the journey of finding who you are. There's going to be different times where you're going to understand who you are, and there's going to be other times where you don't understand. And I think those are great ways of solidifying that identity. There's really no end goal in who you want to be, what you want to do. Just being open to different ways of learning, being. I think that's one of the best ways. At least that's what I've been doing. I've been a music teacher, I've been an academic advisor, I've been a peer mentor, I've done multiple jobs throughout education, and I've loved every single one. There's not one thing right now that I feel like is my thing, and that's totally fine. I'm still young and I can still figure it out. Younger people trying to figure out what they want to do with their life, it's okay not to know exactly what you want to do, because there are so many things you can do with your life, and why not try it all if you can? So that's, I guess, my biggest advice I can give for those trying to find themselves. I would describe my career journey as a winding river. It's going in one direction and then it slowly moves into another, given different opportunities, and I just kind of flow with it. Whatever is given to me, whatever opportunities come to me, I'm open to it, because why not? I feel like I can do the best work with things that I feel passionate about, and my passions may change a little bit, but ultimately I'm still going in a direction where I want to make a positive impact on my people, the people that helped me become the person I am today. So a winding river is a great way to think of, like, we're still going in this direction, but we might be going on a different route. Then we'll come back around. So I think that's where I'm at now in life, and it'll continue. It might straighten out a little bit, or it might get more jagged. Who knows? And that's the beauty of it. I think it comes back to the service that has been given to me, all the opportunities that folks saw in me, the potential that they see in me, and I want to do that same work. It was helpful. I don't like helpful. It was great for me to have folks that believed in my potential, and being able to do that for the next generation excites me the most. I've never really thought of myself as being a person that needs to be in the limelight, always shining. That's why I play the bass trombone. It's in the back of the orchestra, but one of the most important foundations of the orchestra. So I feel like that's kind of how I live a good portion of my life, is being a foundation for others and seeing those people succeed, or letting us all succeed in some way is, I think, excites me the most, rather than trying to be the person shining. On paper, it probably looks like I'm killing it, but definitely self-doubt is constantly there. I'm constantly worried that I'm not fit to be where I'm at, even though, I get good critiques most of the time. And that my ideas aren't necessarily groundbreaking. So I'm constantly thinking like, am I good enough to be here? There's always this sense of, I guess, imposter syndrome that many people go through. And it doesn't necessarily ever really stop. Even when I was working, just working and not doing school, I always felt this imposter syndrome of being in like a first generation professional worker. And what that looks like. How am I supposed to act? How am I doing good work that, my profession wants me to do? So I think those feelings of self-doubt are constantly there, and just thinking that I do have to remind myself that I am doing well. Nobody is perfect at anything. And that you take it one day at a time, and you learn from your mistakes, and those are your greatest learning opportunities are those mistakes. I felt that being able to say I'm sorry to students that I might not have advised very well, and correcting the problem, was one of the best things to do, in terms of like that self-doubt, just like constantly learning, being someone that is teachable. And I think that's what gets me through those feelings of self-doubt, is that I might not know it, but I can be taught, and I'm ready to learn. I think I'll say your indigeneity is your power. You come from very strong people, no matter what nation you're from. And you hold those, your ancestors are following you. They're going to make sure you're going to be doing all right. And to accept that, to learn that, someone is there with you, and to know that your power is going to get you through whatever obstacles you may have in life, and whatever you may want to do. And this can be from, if you're from a tribal community, or if you're from a more urban area where you might not be as close to your community or your tribal identity, knowing that you have generations of people that have wanted your happiness, wanted whatever you wanted to do in life to be possible, and that they're there with you no matter what. And people that are still here want you to succeed.